Hey guys, gang stalking series, I think episode 5 on the gang stalking series. So when I was getting gang stalked by the Victoria Police and Melbourne Drug Court, I'll get to the part, I might actually do it on another. What I came across was this character, I kid you not. So there'd be your standard like cooker type gang stalkers, like the meth heads who just want to like, yes, okay officer, I'll do anything you say, anything, can I just stay out of jam and keep using meth, those type. Look, I want my, you know, just the full scumbags. Anyway, but they're not the issue. The people using those people in a down and out position, they are really abhorrent people. Anyhow, so aside those type who would be like, hey, look, it's cooking him, which it's like, no, it's not, no, that would be cooking you, but it's not cooking me. So aside that, I also came across this person who would hear me say something. It might be, for example, the best example is where I talk about how mass immigration policies affects adversely. The most that get affected by it are yesterday's migrants and Australian Indigenous. The biggest demographic that is adversely affected by mass immigration policies. Now remember, these mass immigration policies are set out of greed and greed alone. So the biggest segment of Australia society that gets adversely affected by mass immigration are other migrants and Australian Indigenous. So in effect, not even in effect, that actually makes you far more racist for wanting left-wing politicians to continue with their branch stacking and greed by having unchecked immigration numbers. So when I say stuff like that, with the gang stalkers, whose number one game through a combination of corrupt police officers, the Melbourne Drug Court, the magistrate papases of this world, and the occasional, what they call a dog drug dealer, an approved drug dealer who was helping the police, what they would do is like secretly listen to my conversations and then try and like wig me out by the Truman Show effect, trying to like, yeah, that's right, you know, like trying to replay what you just said, right? But in that, I was exposed to this character who would basically try and give you a morality lesson, who would try and like, oh yes, you know, but we're all like one people and we're all under the one sun, you know, and trying to like, in effect, trying to give me lessons on the conversations they heard through like literally sex offense, like listening into my conversations either through hacked phones, hidden cameras, you know, or anyway, you know, hacked WhatsApp, whatever, you know, listening in through to private conversations that they should not have been listening to. And then somehow they're like, in their head, they're still like trying to like, yeah, well, no, like trying to give you some moral and ethical. And then the kicker in that is, so when, for example, the magistrate papases, the Melbourne Drug Court, sex trafficked women and got them to expose my conversations literally to the public, literally, like just put it all out there on whoever wanted to listen to her social media account, given the green light by the magistrate papases of this world. I promise you that was their tactic. For example, I would have like, one time I talked, that was the occasion I learnt this, was when I talked about the Four Corners documentary on the horrendous gang rape in India. It was on Four Corners in about 2012, called The Crime That Divided a Nation. So I've discussed this in what I thought was the privacy, you know, of this person's home, but the Melbourne Drug Court had given her the green light to air my... So what that led to was then me literally getting gang stalked by the Australian Indian community. I kid you not. I'm thinking, here's me saying we've got to be careful of immigrations, migrants, there's no way of checking them once they get in here. You can't check, no matter what they tell you, you can't do a background check. Once they're in Australia, you can't check whether they've got like stalky tendencies, whether they're a rapist. There is no way you can check it. So here's these people trying to give me moral superstar lessons, right? Well, I mean, what it goes through your head? You've listened in on a conversation that you shouldn't be listening in through criminal means. So you've been part of like a little stalky gang. So gang pedophile, gang rape. You can put a gang in front of stalk, try and make it sound as cool as you want. You're still in the sex offender category, right? You're still a creepy weirdo. So, you know, I probably would think, like, you got no business. Once you've heard the conversation, that's it. You got to deal with these ones. You can't say anything because, hello. Anyway, I'll speak soon, guys. I'll do another one in a minute. Bye.